Intro. A first date is supposed to be a small risk. That is what people tell themselves. You choose a public place. You tell a friend where you are going. You check the profile twice. You look for red flags in the photos, the messages, the jokes, and the way someone answers simple questions. And then, if nothing feels wrong enough, you go, a coffee shop, a wine bar, a Kiat restaurant, a walk through a city park while there are still people around. Modern dating has made strangers feel close before we ever meet them. By the time someone sits across from you, you may already know their job, their favorite movie, the kind of dog they had growing up, and the way they type when they are nervous. But knowing details is not the same as knowing a person. A profile can be built, a voice can be copied, a location can be watched, a story can be rehearsed. And sometimes the most frightening thing about a first date is not that the other person is a stranger. It is that they do not feel like one. They know your drink. They know your route home. They know a memory you never posted. They know the table where you are supposed to sit. They know how the night ends. Tonight, these 4 first date horror stories are about ordinary messages that opened the wrong door. A man who keeps choosing the same restaurant table, even though the woman across from him has never met him before. A woman whose dating profile photos seem to show events that have not happened yet. A charming match who already knows the code to an apartment building he has never visited. And a final match that appears on a dating app after the phone should have been turned off. These are stories about trust, technology, loneliness, and the small decisions that let strangers enter our lives. So, if you are listening alone tonight, check your messages, check your locks, and if someone you have never met says they already miss you, do not answer too quickly. Story 1. The man who picked the same table every time. By the time I realized the waiter was afraid of my date, I had already been sitting with him for 20 minutes. That is the part I keep going back to. 20 minutes. Long enough to notice the waiter would not come near our table unless another employee was watching. Long enough to notice the hostess had stopped smiling after she saw who I was meeting. Long enough to notice my date kept glancing at the empty space beside me. And long enough for him to say, very softly, without looking up from the menu, "You ordered the salmon last time." I had never met him before. His name on the app was Daniel. At least, that was what the profile said. Daniel, 34, architect, Brooklyn, old movie theaters, black coffee, early morning runs, and cooking meals he claimed never turned out right. His photos were good, but not too good. That mattered. Too perfect made me suspicious. Too casual made me suspicious. Daniel sat in the believable middle. One photo in a navy coat near a bridge. One in a kitchen holding a wine glass. One blurry photo with friends on a rooftop. One picture of a dog, he said, belonged to his sister. He messaged first. "Your third photo looks like Prospect Park in October. Am I right?" He was right. My name is Rachel Morgan. I was 31, working in publishing, living alone in Park Slope, and newly determined not to spend another winter pretending I was fine with being single. I had rules. Always meet in public. Always tell my sister where I was going. Never let the other person choose somewhere too close to home. Never have more than 2 drinks. Never ignore the small feeling that arrives before the obvious problem. That last rule should have saved me. It did not. Daniel and I messaged for 4 days. He was funny in a quiet way, not desperate, not pushy. When he suggested dinner, he offered 3 places and told me to choose whichever felt easiest. That made me trust him. I chose a restaurant called Lark and Thorn. It had low lighting, small tables, exposed brick, and a menu that made simple food sound educated. I had been there twice with friends, never on a date. Daniel wrote back, "Perfect. I know that place. Ask for the back room if you can. It is quieter." That was normal. People had favorite tables, People had restaurant preferences. I booked a reservation for 7:30 on Thursday. Before I left, I sent my sister Emily a screenshot of Daniel's profile, the restaurant name, and the time. She replied, "Text me when you sit down, and send a picture if he has murder eyes." I wrote back that he was an architect, so he probably had emotionally unavailable eyes. She sent a skull emoji. It was raining lightly when I arrived. Lark and Thorn was warm inside, full of low conversation, garlic, wine, and charred bread. The hostess looked up from her screen. "Reservation? Rachel Morgan." Her fingers moved over the tablet, then stopped. For 1 second, her face changed. Confusion first, then concern. "You said Morgan?" "Yes." "Table for 2? "Yes." She looked past me, toward the dining room. "Is your party here?" "I do not think so." She forced a smile and led me to the back room. It was quieter there. Only 6 tables, a small fake fireplace, a narrow hallway to the bathrooms, and a cloudy mirror on the far wall. She stopped at the last table, near the mirror. One chair faced the room, the other faced the wall. She set down a menu and looked at the empty space beside my chair. There was no chair there, only the wall. "You okay?" I asked. "Yes," she said too quickly. "Enjoy." Daniel arrived 6 minutes later. Same face as the photos. Tall, dark hair, nice coat, slightly tired eyes. He looked relieved when he saw me. "Rachel," he said. "Danielle?" "In person, yes." We shook hands. For the first few minutes, everything was normal. He apologized for being late. I said 6 minutes was not late in New York. He took off his coat, folded it over his chair, and looked around the room. "Good table," he said. "You know this place?" "Yes." "Come here often?" "Sometimes." The waiter came over. His name was Matteo. According to the receipt I later found in my coat pocket. He glanced at Daniel and froze for half a second. Daniel saw it too. "Evening," Daniel said. Matteo swallowed. "Good evening." Daniel smiled pleasantly and asked if they still had the mushroom toast. Matteo nodded, but his hand shook as he put his pen away. Then he left. I watched him go. Daniel pulled me back into conversation. He asked about publishing books, my sister, my apartment full of unread novels. He listened. He remembered things I had said on the app. He was almost exactly the right amount of attentive. Then our drinks came. Matteo placed mine down, then Daniel's, never looking at Daniel. "Ready for appetizers?" Daniel looked at me. "Mushroom toast?" "Sure." "And the burrata," Daniel said. Then he added, "She will want the lemon on the side." I looked at him. "What?" "For the burrata," he said. "You said you hate when restaurants put too much lemon on things." "I did? On the app?" "No, I do not think I did." A tiny pause passed between us. Then Daniel smiled. "Maybe I am confusing you with someone else. It should have been nothing. People date multiple people. People mix up details." But Matteo had gone pale. Daniel handed him the menus. "Lemon on the side, please." I told myself it was harmless. I kept telling myself that until Daniel looked at the mirror behind me and said, "You look different tonight." "From my photos?" "From last time." The words were quiet, and that made them worse. I set down my glass. "What did you say?" He frowned, as if he had not meant to say it aloud. "I mean, from your photos." "No," I said. "You said last time." "Sorry. I guess I meant online?" Seeing someone in motion feels different. The explanation came smoothly, too smoothly. I wanted to believe it. Fear is not always loud. Sometimes fear is the part of you that badly wants the easy explanation to be true. When Daniel went to the bathroom, Matteo appeared beside me. He glanced down the hall, then leaned close. "You should leave," he whispered. "Before he comes back." My chest tightened. "Do you know him?" Matteo looked scared enough that the answer did not matter. He brings you here. What? Always this table. Then Daniel returned. Mateo straightened and left. Daniel watched him go. He is dramatic, Daniel said. You know him? I have eaten here before. How many times? Enough. Enough to know he is dramatic? Enough to know people in restaurants like stories. What kind of stories? Daniel looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, You ordered the salmon last time. There it was. Not accidental. Not misheard. Not explainable. My skin prickled. I have never been here with you. No, Daniel said softly. Not with me. The room seemed to shrink. He leaned closer. You chose the risotto the first time. You said it was too salty. The second time, you ordered the salmon. You liked it, but you said the potatoes were cold. I pushed my chair back. He did not move. Rachel, he said, how do you know that? You told me. No, I did not. You always think that I stood. The back room went quiet enough for every eye to feel like a hand. Daniel looked up at me, almost sadly. You usually stay through dessert. I grabbed my coat. If you leave now, he said, you will come back sooner. I walked fast through the restaurant, not running. Running feels like surrendering dignity to panic. I reached the front door and stepped into the rain. My rideshare app showed no cars available. Then my phone buzzed. Emily had texted, Rachel, why did you send me the same screenshot again? I opened our conversation. At 7:12, before I arrived, I had sent Daniel's profile and the restaurant. At 8:04, I had sent the same screenshot again. At 8:21, again. At 8:31, again. All from my phone. All while I had been sitting at the table. A notification appeared from the dating app. Danielle sent a message. Do not stand in the rain. You hate getting your hair wet. Through the window, Daniel sat alone at table 6, calmly holding his phone. The hostess suddenly appeared beside me outside. Her name was Elise. Come with me, she said. She led me through a side door into a storage room. Do you know him? I asked. She shook her head. No one knows him. Mateo said, he brings me here. Her face tightened. He brings women here. That is not what Mateo said. Elise looked at the floor. No, a chill moved through me. How many times have I been here? She looked helpless. I have seen you 4 times. The first time was in June. It was November. I had never met Daniel before. Elise said I'd come in, left before dessert, then returned on later Thursdays without remembering anyone. The third time I had cried in the bathroom. The 4th time I made them promise not to let me sit down if I came back again. Why did you let me sit down tonight? I asked. We tried, she said. You walked past us like you could not hear. He was already at the table. You sat down before we reached you. Then my phone buzzed again. A calendar notification. Reservation confirmed. Lark and Thorn. Table 6. Next Thursday, 7:30. I deleted it. It returned. I deleted it again. It returned. My phone battery dropped to 12%, then 3, then black. The receipt printers in the restaurant started screaming. Long, white slips poured across the floor. Everyone said the same thing. Rachel Morgan, table 6, party 3, party 3, not 2, Daniel, me, and the empty chair. Elise pulled me through the kitchen and out the rear exit into the alley. Rain hit my face. For 1 second, I thought we were free. Then we turned the corner and stood in front of Lark and Thorn again. Same entrance, same warm windows, same Daniel visible in the back room sitting at table 6. The street had become like the restaurant, a route that returned to the table. Daniel stepped outside, Rachel Morgan, he called. My body wanted to turn, not my mind. My body. Elise slapped me hard. The sting broke the pull. Do not answer, she whispered. What is the empty chair? I shouted. Daniel looked almost tender. Someone has to finish the date. Who? You did, he said. No, you will. What happens when I do? You stop leaving in the middle. He held out one hand. You were lonely when you matched with me. You wanted someone who remembered what you said. You wanted someone to choose the table, make the plan, notice the details, make it easy. Every sentence landed exactly where it was supposed to. That was the danger. Not charm, accuracy. A taxi stopped at the curb. I grabbed Elise and ran. Daniel called my name again, but not Rachel and not Morgan. Something else. A name I did not know and almost answered. We jumped into the taxi. The driver looked at us in the mirror. You running from him? Yes, that was enough. He pulled into traffic. The street did not loop. We made it to a police station. Daniel's profile was gone. The reservation emails were gone. The texts to Emily were gone. Only one receipt remained in my coat pocket. Lark and Thorn. Table 6. Party 3. At the bottom, someone had written, "See you next Thursday." I moved out of Brooklyn before Christmas. I deleted every dating app, changed my number, stopped going to restaurants with back rooms. For a while, that seemed to be the end. The following November, after I moved to Boston, I received an email, reservation reminder, Lark and Thorn, Boston, Thursday, 7:30, Tabe, cease. There was no Lark and Thorn, Boston. Then a text came from an unknown number. Running 6 minutes late. Do not order without me. Then a dating app notification appeared, though I had no dating apps installed. Daniel liked you. The profile photo loaded slowly. It was not Daniel. It was me, sitting at table 6 in the black sweater I had worn that night. Beside me, the empty chair was no longer empty. Someone blurred by motion leaned close to my ear. The bio under the picture said, Rachel has been here before. Now, every Thursday at 7:30, I turn off my phone and leave it in the freezer, because cold slows the notifications down. It does not stop them. Last week, walking home in the rain, I passed a restaurant I had never seen before. Warm windows, exposed brick, low light, Lark and Thorn. Inside, Daniel sat alone at the corner table. He looked up and smiled. Then he pointed to the sidewalk beside me. A wooden dining chair stood there in the rain, empty, waiting. A folded menu lay on the seat. My name was written across it in black ink. Not Rachel Morgan, a different name, one I somehow knew belonged to one of the versions before me. I ran. This time, the street did not loop. Not yet. But when I reached my apartment building, there was a reservation card taped to the door. Thursday, 7:30, Party 3, Table 6, and underneath, in Daniel's neat handwriting, this time, let her sit. Story 2, the woman whose photos were all taken tomorrow. Her first photo showed the cafe where we met. That was not strange by itself. People take pictures in cafes all the time. What was strange was that the photo showed my jacket hanging on the back of a chair. My jacket, the one I had not worn in any dating app photo, the one I had bought that morning, the one that was still hanging in my apartment when I matched with her the night before. At the time, I told myself it was coincidence. That is what people do when something impossible introduces itself politely. They make room for coincidence. My name is Oliver Kent. I was 33, living in Seattle, working as a product designer for a company that made wellness apps nobody at the company actually used. I had been single for almost 2 years. No terrible breakup, no betrayal, Just the slow modern kind of single where weeks pass, then months, and eventually your friends stop asking if you are seeing anyone. I used dating apps in bursts. Download, swipe for a week. Go on one awkward coffee date. Delete. Wait 2 months. Repeat. That spring I opened the app again and saw Mara. Maravali, 31. Archivist. Loved old cemeteries, small museums, bad coffee, early trains, and films where nothing happens until the last 10 minutes. Her first photo showed her standing outside a cafe window at night. Dark hair, green coat, slight smile, rain on the glass behind her. The cafe sign read Juniper Room. I knew the place. It was 12 minutes from my apartment. Her second photo showed her in a bookstore aisle, holding a paperback in front of her face, so only her eyes were visible. Third photo, a wet street with a red umbrella in the gutter. Fourth, a dinner table with 2 untouched glasses of wine. Fifth, her reflection in an elevator mirror, blurred by movement. I liked her profile. We matched immediately. Her first message appeared before I set down the phone. Do you always choose the safest answer? I wrote back, only when the unsafe answer requires paperwork, she replied. So yes, we messaged for an hour. She was sharp, quick, and strange in the way people can be strange before it becomes frightening. When I asked what kind of archivist she was, she said, the kind who knows people throw away the wrong things. When I asked what she did for fun, she said, read marginalia, walk in neighborhoods where no one looks out windows, save photos I do not remember taking. I thought that last line was a joke. It was not. Around 11, she asked if I wanted to meet the next day. Coffee? I asked. Juniper Room, she said. What time? 6:10. Not 6. Not 6:30. 6:10. Specific. I wrote. You will understand tomorrow, she replied. Before bed, I looked again at her first photo. Something about the dark jacket hanging behind her in the cafe bothered me. It looked like one of mine. The next morning, my old jacket ripped on the way to work. At lunch, cold and annoyed, I bought a new one. Black canvas, tan corduroy collar, a tiny square patch on the left sleeve. I did not think about Mara's photo until I got home and hung the jacket on the back of a chair. Then I opened the app. Mara's first photo was unchanged. Juniper Room, rain, green coat, and behind her, inside the cafe, my new jacket, not similar. Mine. The square patch was visible on the sleeve. I sat very still. Then Mara messaged, still coming? I looked at the photo again. Yes, I wrote, where the new one, she replied. My apartment went quiet around me. What new one? The dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. The one that makes you think this is still coincidence. I almost blocked her. But fear and curiosity are cousins. Curiosity won. At 5:45, I put on the new jacket and went to Juniper Room. The cafe was busy. Rain pressed silver lines down the windows. At 6:07, no Mara. A man in a blue knit hat sat near the back, reading a newspaper. At 6:10, exactly, the door opened. Mara stepped in. Green coat, dark hair damp from rain. Same face as the photos. Not more beautiful in person, more real. That made it worse. She smiled like someone recognizing a scene. Oliver, Mara, we sat. The man in the blue hat folded his newspaper and left at 6:12. Mara looked at me and said, you should order before the line gets long. There were only 3 people in line. When I turned back, 5 more customers entered together and the line doubled. How are you doing this? I asked. I am not doing it, she said. Then What is happening? I need to know what you see. She asked me to describe her profile photos. The first was the cafe. She nodded. That was today. But I saw it yesterday. I know. The second was the bookstore. When I told her the visible word on the book was threshold, she closed her eyes. That is tomorrow. The third was the street after rain. The fourth was the dinner table. The fifth was the elevator. She whispered, still 5. Then she told me her profile changed whenever one photo caught up. 3 weeks earlier, she had matched with a man named Evan. He asked if she liked photography. He said some pictures are better before they happen. She went home after one drink. The next morning, her profile had a new photo. Me sleeping, she said, taken from inside my room. I live alone. She called the police. They said it looked like hacking. The next photo showed her talking to the police before she called them. She deleted the app. It came back. She changed phones. It came back. Now matchers could see the photos before she took them. Why me? I asked. Because you replied, she said. A barista called Mara's name. Neither of us had ordered. 2 cups waited on the counter. 1 black coffee. 1 oat latte. My usual 1 cup, said Mara. The other said Oliver. Under my name, in smaller letters, it said, leave before 7. Outside, across the street, a man stood under a black umbrella. He raised a phone. The camera flash went off. Mara's profile changed. The cafe photo vanished. The bookstore photo became first. A new 5th photo appeared. It showed me sitting at my apartment desk that night, photographed from behind through my window. I lived on the 4th floor. The clock on my desk read 11:48. Mara whispered, do not go home tonight. We left through the back door and walked fast to the bookstore from her second photo. It was called Alder and Pine. In the display window sat the black book from the picture, The Threshold House. Inside, the clerk saw Mara and went pale. You came in yesterday, she said. No, Mara said. You asked me not to sell you this book when you came back. Why? The clerk swallowed. You said it had his pictures in it. I picked up the book. No barcode. No author. Only a description about a house where every room contained a photograph of the next room. A photo fell out. It showed the 3 of us standing in the bookstore, and in the dark window behind us, the man with the black umbrella. On the back, blue ink said, you can only be early so many times. Then every phone in the store chimed. Mara uploaded a new photo. The bookstore had caught up. The next photo showed the red umbrella in the gutter. Outside, the rain had stopped. The street shone black. A red umbrella lay in the gutter half a block away. A police car moved slowly through the intersection. The umbrella trembled. A hand emerged from under it. Then a man crawled out from beneath the umbrella as if it had covered a hole in the street. Black coat, wet hair. Mara whispered, Evan. We ran. The city seemed normal, which made it worse. People walked past restaurants. Cars hissed through puddles. Someone laughed into a phone, and every reflective surface held Evan for half a second. Store windows, car doors, a puddle, the dark screen of a stranger's phone. Mara pulled me into a subway entrance. Her profile changed again. First photo, the street. Second, dinner table. Third, elevator. Fourth, hospital room. Fifth, black image. When I opened the black image, white letters appeared. Not enough light. The dinner table was at a restaurant called the Gilded Room. Mara said if we avoided the photo, it might choose a worse one. So we went. The hostess looked at her screen. Maravale? Yes. Your party is already seated. In the dining room, at a table near the back, sat 2 people. A woman in a green coat. A man in a black canvas jacket with a tan collar. Us, or almost us. Evan sat between them, smiling. The other Mara mouthed one word, "Hurry." The doors closed behind us. Every candle went out, except the one on Evan's table. He walked toward us with an old instant camera. "You cannot outrun an image once you agree to be in it," he said. "I never agreed," Mara said. "You matched," he replied. "That is not agreement." "Modern people say that about everything," Evan said. He raised the camera. I lunged. The flash went off. White filled the room. Then I was in an elevator. Mara stood beside me. Mirrored walls. No buttons, except one glowing number. 12. The elevator descended. Our reflections lagged behind our bodies by half a second. Mara told me not to look too long. My phone showed her profile. The next photo was a hospital room, then a black image, then my apartment, then Mara on wet pavement, then me alone in the elevator, smiling at my own reflection. In the mirror, my reflection smiled. I did not. The elevator stopped at 6 and opened back into the gilded room. Evan stood there with the camera. Mara grabbed a steak knife and threw it. It struck the camera lens. Evan screamed. The restaurant vanished. I woke in a hospital bed. Mara stood beside me, hair wet, face cut near the temple. The wall clock read 11:48. The phone lit up. The black image filled the screen. White letters appeared. Enough light now. The hospital lights went out. In the red emergency glow, Evan stood at the foot of my bed with the broken camera. He said the future was hungry and needed witnesses. Mara pulled the bookstore photo from her coat and tore it in half. Evan jerked as if cut. She tore it again. Every photo on her profile changed rapidly. Cafe, bookstore, street, restaurant, elevator, hospital, black image, apartment, pavement. The photos spat from Evan's camera, blank and white. Mara grabbed me. We ran down a stairwell. It did not loop. At the ground floor, we burst through an emergency exit into rain. No hospital behind us. We were in the alley behind Juniper Room. Back at 6:10 in the evening, the man in the blue hat left the cafe. Our cups sat untouched inside. Mara looked at me. "You should go home." "What about you?" "I have to find where he keeps the album." "No." She smiled, tired and sad. "You do not get to tell me no after one date." "That was not a date." "No," she said. "It was worse." Then she disappeared into the rain. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. No app, no message, no strange photos. Then an envelope appeared on my apartment door. Inside was a photograph of a windowless room covered wall to wall with pictures, dates, coffee shops, restaurants, bars, parks, elevators, hospital, beds, people smiling, people running, people staring into the camera as fear emptied their faces. On the back, Mara had written, "I found the album. Do not let anyone take your picture tomorrow." I burned it. I stopped using dating apps. No selfies, no profile photos, no group pictures. If someone lifted a camera, I turned away. Years passed. I met someone at work named Claire. Kind, passion, real. At a wedding, a photographer caught us laughing near the bar. The next morning, Claire sent me the picture. Behind us, reflected in the dark window, stood a man holding a broken camera. The message under the photo changed in front of me. "You looked happy tomorrow." Then another message appeared from Mara. "Do not reply." I did not. I threw the phone into the river, moved again, changed jobs, ended things with Claire badly enough that she would never come looking. I tell myself that saved her. Last week, a woman sat across from me on the train. Dark hair, green coat, older now, or maybe only more tired. She placed an envelope on the seat and got off at the next station. Inside was one photograph. Me, on that same train, holding the envelope, but the seat across from me was empty. On the back, in Mara's handwriting, I am running out of tomorrow. Beneath that, in a different hand, neat, Male, Passion, see you, yesterday. Every time I throw the photograph away, it comes back with a new detail, a closer reflection, a clearer face. This morning, I unfolded it and saw something new in the train window behind me. A cafe sign, Juniper Room, rain on the glass, 2 cups on the table, and my new jacket hanging on the back of a chair, waiting for me to arrive. Story 3. The date who already knew my apartment code. He knew the code to my building before I told him where I lived. That was the detail everyone focused on later. Police, my sister, the building manager, the detective who kept asking whether I had written it down somewhere or reused it for a delivery app. They wanted a simple answer. A leak, a hack, a hidden camera, something that would turn the impossible into bad security. For a while, I wanted that too. I wanted to believe he had found the code the normal way, because the alternative meant admitting he had known the code before it existed. My name is Hannah Mercer. At the time, I lived in Chicago in a converted warehouse apartment building near the river. It was called the Marlowe. Industrial luxury, exposed brick, expensive rent, thin walls, and a lobby that smelled like concrete, eucalyptus, and wet dogs. The building had 2 front doors. The first opened into a vestibule. The second required a key fob, a phone app, or a 6-digit code. There were cameras in the vestibule, lobby, package room, and elevators. The building sent cheerful safety emails every month. Please do not let strangers tailgate. Please report suspicious behavior. Please remember that secure living is a community effort. I followed rules. Keys ready before leaving the rideshare. 1 earbud out. Never post the view from my window. Never let a date pick me up. Never say my apartment number. Never say I lived alone. Always text someone the name and photo of the person I was meeting. I followed the rules, and something got in anyway. His name was Caleb on the app. Caleb Price. 35. Security consultant. Divorced. No kids. Liked jazz bars, strong coffee, old buildings, and movies where no one survives the house. That last line made me laugh. His photos were ordinary enough to be reassuring. A grey coat outside a bookstore. A wedding photo with someone cropped out. A hiking picture. A mirror selfie in a hotel hallway. A black cat in a suitcase. The cat made me swipe right. We matched on a Sunday night. He messaged first. Your bookshelf says you buy more murder mysteries than you finish. In my profile photo, part of my bookcase was visible. No window, no street, just shelves. He was right. I wrote back, that is a private matter between me and several unread paperbacks. He replied, then I will not inform them. We messaged for 2 days. He did not ask where I lived. When he asked what neighborhood I was in, I said West Side-ish. He wrote, good answer. I would have worried if you gave a stranger an exact location. That made him feel safer. That was the first trick. He made my caution feel seen. When we decided to meet, I picked a bar called the Blue Hour. Public, busy, and far from my apartment. He agreed immediately. Public place. Your choice. Good policy. I sent my sister Kate his screenshot, the address, and the time. She replied, security consultant is either hot or terrifying. No middle ground. At the bar, Caleb was already there. Tall, dark hair, blue shirt under a black jacket. He had chosen a table near the center of the room. Not a corner, not isolated, I figured center of the room is less serial killer coded, he said. I laughed. For the first hour, he was exactly what his messages suggested. Funny, dry, attentive without being intense. He asked about my work. He told me he consulted on access systems for offices, hotels, apartments, event spaces, keypads, cameras, guest codes, employee badges. People think locks keep things out, he said. And they do not. They mostly keep honest people honest. Everything else depends on habits. The first strange moment came after I returned from the restroom. He was looking at the bar entrance, not checking his phone, just watching. Everything okay? Habit, he said. Then, casually, do you take the elevator or stairs? I paused. What? At your building? Do you usually take the elevator or stairs? The question was not intimate, but it landed wrong. Why? He saw the change immediately. Sorry. Work brain. I was thinking about access points. To my building? To buildings in general. He apologized cleanly. No yoke. No defensiveness. That helped too much. Dinner became drinks. At 10:15, I said I should go. Caleb did not argue. Outside, while I waited for my rideshare, he said, text me when you are inside. That is my sister's job. Then text her. I will. He nodded. And change your building code. Everything stopped. What? For 1 second, he looked confused by my face. Then regret crossed his. I meant generally, he said. People keep old codes too long. No, you said change your building code. You live in a controlled access building. I assumed. What code? He did not answer fast enough. My car arrived. I got in and shut the door. Halfway home, he texted apologies, saying he dealt with buildings all day and sometimes talked too directly. I did not reply. I texted Kate. Date ended. Weird comment. She called immediately. Do not go home, she said. I was already almost there. I got out at the corner, not the door. No Caleb outside. No one watching. I used the back entrance. My building code was 618409. I typed it quickly. The keypad flashed green. Inside, I stayed on the phone with Kate until I reached my apartment. I locked the deadbolt, set the chain, looked through the peephole, and told her I was safe. She made me promise to block Caleb. I said I would. I did not immediately. I wanted an explanation. So I wrote, how did you know I have a building code? He replied, I did not. Most newer buildings do? That is not what you said. I know. I am sorry. Then I do not know where you live. The words should have helped. They did not, because he had not said, I do not know your building code. Only, I do not know where you live. At 11:38, my phone buzzed. A notification from the Marlow resident app. Guest access created. I opened it. Guest name, Caleb Price. Access code, 618409. Expire. Never. My toothbrush fell into the sink. The access log said my account had created the guest code. I had not done it. I tried to delete the access. Error. Tried to change my password. Error. Called the emergency building line. No answer. Called the remote desk. They told me to call emergency services if I felt unsafe. Then another notification appeared. Front door unlocked. Guest access. Caleb Price. Time 11:44. Then elevator call. Guest access. Caleb Price. Floor 6. I called 911. The operator told me to lock myself in the bathroom. I grabbed a kitchen knife, went into the tub, locked the bathroom door, and watched my doorbell camera on my phone. The hallway appeared. Grey carpet, white wall, my doormat. Then Caleb stepped into frame. Same clothes, calm. He looked directly into the camera. At me, he knocked 3 times. Tap, tap, dab. Hannah, he said, I know you can hear me. The operator told me not to engage. Caleb looked scared now. You need to delete the guest code. You did not create it. I know. I did not either. Someone used my name. The hallway light flickered. At the far end, the elevator doors opened. No one stepped out. Caleb backed away from my door. Hannah, he said. Louder now. Do not open for me, even if I ask. The feed glitched. For half a second, Caleb was not at my door. Someone else was. Same height, same clothes, wrong face, blurred, smeared. Like the camera had tried to focus on a person who had not finished becoming one. The elevator voice called in Caleb's voice. Hannah, it is me. Open the door. The real Caleb whispered. No. Then my phone began generating more guest codes under Caleb's name. 614809. 681409. 618490. All active, all never expiring. The 911 call disconnected. On the camera, another Caleb stepped out of the elevator. Perfect, from the neck down. But its face was still catching up. The real Caleb asked, Who are you? The other Caleb smiled with an unfinished mouth. I am the guest. Then it looked to the camera. Hannah, the code worked. The real Caleb lunged. The feed cut to black. I heard crashes in the hallway. Then silence. My phone showed a new notification. Door unlocked. Apartment 6C. User Hannah Mercer. My smart lock turned. The chain caught. The door opened a few inches. Light slipped into my living room. I heard breathing. Someone knocked on the bathroom door. Tap, tap, tap. Then Caleb's voice. Hannah? I did not answer. He said he was hurt. The voice was perfect, too perfect. Through the phone, the camera feed returned sideways. The real Caleb lay bleeding near my doormat. He whispered, Do not. At the bathroom door, the other Caleb said, He is lying. Then the voice changed. My sister Kate. Hannah, open the door. Kate was miles away. Then my dead mother's voice. Hannah, honey? I bit the inside of my cheek until I tasted blood. The voices shifted faster. Kate, my mother, Caleb, the operator, my own voice. The bathroom lock clicked. The knob began to turn. Then the building fire alarm exploded. Red light strobed under the door. On the hallway camera, the real Caleb had dragged himself to the pull station by the elevator. Apartment doors opened. Real neighbors came out. The thing outside my bathroom hissed like steam. Then it moved away. Police arrived and broke open my apartment. They found me in the bathtub with the knife. They found Caleb in the hallway with a concussion and 2 broken fingers. He said he had no memory of entering my building. After the date, he had walked to his car. His own phone showed a building access notification for the Marlowe. Then his GPS opened by itself and guided him toward my address. His car doors locked. The screen said, Guest route confirmed. Then he lost time. The security footage showed Caleb entering the vestibule at 11:44. Then the feed glitched. The 6th floor camera showed Caleb exiting the elevator at 11:49. Then, 18 seconds later, it showed him exiting again. Same clothes, same face. 2 Calebs. A week later, the footage was corrupted during export. Of course it was. I moved out 3 days later. Caleb emailed me once. Something is still using my name, he wrote. Last night, I got guest codes for Milwaukee, Denver, Portland. I think it is testing doors. Attached was a screenshot. Guest access active. Name Caleb Price. Code 618409. My old code. I blocked him after that. I moved into a small walk-up with old keys, no smart locks, no package room, no elevator, and a landlord who thought QR codes were suspicious. I stopped dating. 6 months passed, then 9. The fear became habit. Check the hallway. Lock the door. Cover the peephole. Never scan unknown codes. Never save access codes. Never trust anyone who makes caution feel romantic. Then Kate visited with her new boyfriend, Adam. Kind. Funny. Normal. He brought flowers and did not comment on my locks. We had dinner. For the first time in months, I felt nearly normal. While filling the kettle, my old phone buzzed in a drawer. The one from the Marlow? No SIM. No service. Battery should have been dead. The screen read, guest access created. Building, Hannah Mertzer. Guest name, Adam Riley. Access code, Kate. Expire. Never. In the living room, Adam stopped laughing and slowly turned toward me. For 1 second, his face blurred like a bad connection. Then he smiled. Hannah, he said, I think your door code worked. I threw boiling water at him. Kate saw his face change when the water hit. Not burn. Change. For a fraction of a second, Adam was gone. Something smooth and unfinished stood in his clothes. Then Adam was back, screaming and human. Kate dragged him outside. The old phone buzzed again. Guest access failed. Reason, door manually secured. That was when I understood it did not open locks. Not exactly. It used permission. Guest access. Codes. Names typed into systems. Names saved in contact lists. Names attached to visitors. It lived in invitation. Last week, Kate called me crying. She had received a visitor access email from her building. The guest name was Hannah Mercer. Something using my face stood outside her lobby camera, wearing my coat and my almost face. It typed my old code into the keypad. 618409. The door did not open. Kate had disabled guest access. The thing looked at the keypad, then up at the camera. Its mouth moved. The audio caught up. My voice whispered, "Tell Hannah I can wait. I have not slept much since. Somewhere, maybe tonight, someone is standing in a lobby, smiling at a message from a stranger they think they might like. Maybe he seems thoughtful. Maybe she seems safe. Maybe they say all the right things about boundaries." Then, later, after the date ends and the lights go out, a notification appears. Guest access created. Name, someone you just met. Code, a number you never shared. Expire, never. And by the time you realize the code was not for them, it is already inside the building. Learning your face. Story 4. The last match at 2:17 in the morning. The app should not have been able to send me notifications after I deleted it. That was the first thing I told the police. Then my brother, then the private investigator I hired 3 months later. I had deleted the app, not minimized it, not logged out, deleted, held my thumb on the icon until it shook, tapped, remove, confirmed, watched it vanish. I remember doing it because I said out loud, "That is enough." I was alone in my apartment when I said it. At least, I thought I was. My name is Miles Renner. I was 34, living in Portland, Oregon, and working nights as an emergency maintenance dispatcher for a company that owned apartment buildings across the city. Most nights were broken water heaters, garage doors stuck open, tenants locked out after midnight, and people calling to report noises in walls that were almost always pipes. Almost always. My hours were terrible. 6 in the evening to 2 in the morning. 5 nights a week. By the time I got home, the city felt rinsed out and unfinished. Wet streets, closed bars, traffic lights changing for no one. Apartment windows dark except for the blue glow of someone else awake too late. Working nights cut me out of normal time. I became the kind of person who swiped in bed at 2 in the morning, knowing nothing good comes from making choices when you are lonely and tired. The app was called Finch, a smaller dating app that claimed to be slower and more intentional. It still showed faces. You still decided in less than 2 seconds. But Finch stopped after a certain number of profiles each day. Then it said, "That is all for tonight. Come back tomorrow." Artificial scarcity. Very clever, very irritating, and strangely effective. It made each profile feel like the last door in a hallway. One night, I got home at 2:13, ate leftover noodles over the sink, showered, and got into bed. Then I opened Finch. 3 profiles left for the day. I swiped no on the first, no on the second. The third took longer to load. White screen, grey screen, spinning circle. Then a profile appeared. No name, no age, no distance. Nobile, just one photo. A diner booth, red vinyl seats, white table, 2 coffee mugs, a dark window, no person. Where a name should have been, the app displayed. Last match. Probably a glitch, I thought. A placeholder account. I tapped the X. Nothing happened. I tapped again. The phone vibrated. A message appeared. You always skip the last one. I sat up. I tried to close the app. It froze. Then the screen changed. The diner booth remained. But now there was a name. Nora, age 32. Distance, less than 1 mile. Bio, I save the last table. That should have been enough. Instead, annoyed and tired, I tapped the message field. What is this? The reply came immediately. You made it to the end. I looked at the time, 2:17 in the morning. Is this a bot? No. Then why is your profile a booth? Because that is where we meet. I have not agreed to meet you. Not yet. I unmatched. The app returned to the end screen. That is all for tonight. Come back tomorrow. I put the phone down. It buzzed again. One new match. Nora. Same booth. New message. I will try again tomorrow. I deleted the app. That is when I said, that is enough. The next day felt smaller. In daylight, fear becomes a glitch, a prank, bad code. No Finch app. No notification. No Nora. I went to work at 5:30. The shift was normal until 1:58 in the morning, when a woman called about the keypad at Eastmore Lofts. I asked her name. Nora Vale, she said. My hand stopped above the keyboard. What seems to be wrong with the keypad? It will not let me in. Are you a resident? No. Visiting someone? Yes. What unit? She did not answer. I am supposed to meet someone, she said. At 2 in the morning? At 2:17. The office went quiet around me. I said I could not grant access unless she was listed as an approved guest. I know, she said. Then contact the person you are visiting. I did. And he deleted the app. I hung up. The office phone rang again. Let it ring. Then my personal phone buzzed. The Finch app icon was back. Nora sent a message. It is rude to hang up. I shut the phone off. At 2, my shift ended. I walked fast to the parking garage. No woman, no figure near my car. No diner booth reflected in glass. When I got home, my phone was still off. I put it in a kitchen drawer. At 2:17, the phone buzzed inside the drawer. Once, then again. I did not open it. At 2:18, the apartment intercom rang. My building was small, only 6 units. No smart locks, no apps, just an old metal buzzer panel. The intercom buzzed again. A female voice came through the wall speaker. Miles? I backed away. Miles, I am at the door. I said nothing. She sighed. You should answer when someone comes all this way. I called my brother Aaron from my landline. He answered half asleep. Are you home? I asked. Yes. Can I come over? His voice changed. What happened? I will explain there. I left my phone in the drawer, grabbed my keys, and looked through the peephole. Empty hall. Downstairs, the building front door stood open. Cold rain blew in. Taped to the inside of the glass was a diner receipt. Martin's 24-hour diner. 2 coffees, 1 slice cherry pie, 1 side fries. Table 7. Time, 2:17 in the morning. At the bottom, in blue ink, you missed the first date. I drove to Aaron's house. He opened the door holding a baseball bat. I told him everything. He listened, then asked where my phone was. In my kitchen drawer. Good, he said. That is the first smart thing you have done. The next morning he drove me back. The front door was closed. No receipt. Inside my apartment, the kitchen drawer was open. My phone sat on the counter, powered on, battery at 100%. The Finch app icon was on the screen. Aaron saw it. You are sure you deleted it? Yes. There was one notification. Nora sent a photo. Aaron opened it before I could stop him. The image showed both of us standing in my kitchen, Aaron holding my phone, me behind him. The photo had been taken from inside my dark living room. We turned. The living room was empty. Aaron quietly said, "Pack a bag." I stayed with him for a week. My phone stayed powered off inside a metal toolbox in his garage because he had read that it could block signals. Nothing happened. Then, at his daughter's birthday party, I saw the words Table 7 written on the bottom paper plate in a stack. By the time Aaron looked, the writing was gone. He drove me to a hotel and left me with a cheap flip phone. No apps, no internet. Call me if anything happens. The first night, nothing happened. The second night, at 2:17, the television turned on by itself. Static. Then a diner booth. Red vinyl seats. White table. 2 coffee mugs. This time, a woman sat in one seat. Dark hair. Grey sweater. Hands around a mug. Her face turned away. The speaker crackled. Miles, she said. This is becoming embarrassing. I unplugged the television. The screen stayed on. She turned slightly. You keep making me move the table. The flip phone rang. I answered. Aaron's voice said, "You need to go to Martin's diner." The voice was wrong. Too flat. It continued. Table 7. 2:17? Do not make her wait. I threw the phone against the wall. The television went black. Then someone knocked on the hotel room door. 3 polite taps. I locked myself in the bathroom until sunrise. When hotel security opened the room, no one was outside. No footage. No sign the television had turned on. But on the desk beside the bed sat 2 white coffee mugs. Between them was a folded menu from Martin's 24-hour diner. I went there in daylight with Aaron. It was real. A small diner in East Portland, between a tire shop and a shuttered video store. Chrome trim. Red sign. Open 24 hours. Inside, a woman named Deb stood behind the counter. She saw me and said, "No." Aaron tried to ask questions. She pointed at the door. "You leave. You know me?" I asked. "Not yet," she said. Then she told us men had come before, pale and shaking, asking about a woman, asking about Table 7, asking what happened at 2:17. Then they came back at night and after that no one came asking anything. Who is Nora? I asked. That is just the name she is using for you, Deb said. What is she? Deb looked toward table 7. Red booth, white table, 2 mugs already placed there. This used to be a bus station cafe, she said. People came through all night. Drivers, runaways, soldiers, girls with suitcases, men who said they were going somewhere better. There was a woman who worked nights. Nora, maybe, maybe not. Some say she waited for one man who never came. Some say she never existed until enough lonely people started expecting someone to sit across from them. What happens if I do not come? Deb looked at me with pity. It comes to wherever you make a table. Aaron wanted to destroy the table. Deb said not to. The last man tried, she said. His teeth were in the coffee grinder for a week. Then she leaned closer. When she asks what you want, do not tell the truth. She feeds on the thing that made you answer. Loneliness, regret, want, shame, whatever hunger brought you to the table. I did not answer. I said. Deb stared at me. You downloaded the app at 2 in the morning, did you not? That is an answer. That night, I went to Martin's alone. Aaron drove me to a gas station 2 blocks away and swore he would come in if I was not out by 2:30. At 1:45, I walked through wet, empty streets toward the red sign. Inside, a trucker sat at the counter. A young couple whispered over milkshakes. Deb stood behind the register and nodded toward table 7. 2 mugs waited. I sat facing the door. Deb brought a pot of coffee. Do not drink unless she drinks first, she said. What if she does? Then pretend you do not see. The bell over the door rang. Cold air entered. A woman walked in, dark hair, grey sweater, black coat, normal, tired, pretty in a quiet way. She sat across from me. Miles, she said. Nora, for now. Her voice matched the rhythm of her messages. She looked at the empty mugs. You did not pour. Deb said not to. Nora smiled. Deb gives everyone rules. It makes her feel less responsible. I asked what she wanted. She smiled. That is my question. I had a folded receipt in my pocket from Deb. An answer that is not true. I said I wanted her to leave me alone. Nora, Sihil, that is what you want now, not what brought you here. What did the table promise? To be chosen last, she said. You are practical, reliable, available. You answer emergency calls. You fix other people's broken doors. You go to birthdays tired. You are useful, but no one waits up for useful men. That hurt because it was true. She said I wanted someone awake at my hour, someone who did not need me to be normal. Then she asked, what do you want, Miles? I unfolded Deb's receipt under the table. It said, I want to be forgotten. I looked at Nora and said it. I want to be forgotten. Her expression cracked. No, you do not. Yes, you are lying. You asked what I want. That is not what you want. It is tonight. Then my brother's voice spoke from behind me. Miles? I started to turn. Deb shouted, do not. I froze. The voice said, Miles, I am serious. But Aaron never said that. He called me Mikey. I raised my voice. My brother calls me Mikey. Silence. Then the thing behind me laughed. Not Aaron? Nora's face went still. The diner changed. Lights dimmed. Windows turned black. Every booth was now occupied by someone alone. A man in a suite. A teenage girl with wet hair. An old woman in a red coat. All sitting across from untouched mugs. Nora said loneliness built this place, one table at a time. My mug slid closer. The smell rose from it. Not coffee. Rain on concrete. My apartment after a long shift. My father's garage. The hair of a woman I had loved years ago and pretended not to miss. I wanted to drink. That was the worst part. Nora said I could stay. I would never be alone at the wrong hour again. I looked at the receipt and understood the second meaning. Forgotten by the table, forgotten by the app, forgotten by whatever called names at 2:17. I said, I want you to forget me. Her face went blank. No, I want every version of you to forget my name. The diner lights flickered. I want the app to forget my phone. The coffee rippled. I want this table to forget my hunger. Nora stood. You do not mean that. I kept going. I want the last match to pass me by. The coffee mug cracked. Black liquid spread across the table. Nora leaned over the booth, and her face became thousands of faces. Profile photos, cropped eyes, borrowed smiles, mouths from people who had typed honestly too late at night. Her many voices said, you do not get to be forgotten after you answer. I grabbed the coffee pot and smashed it against the table. Glass shattered. Black liquid spilled over me, burning cold. Deb appeared beside me and grabbed my coat. Now, we ran through the kitchen toward the back door. Behind us, every booth bell rang at once. Not bells, notification sounds, pings, buses, chimes, the sound of loneliness monetized. In the alley, Aaron's car waited with the engine running. He shouted, Mikey. I ran. Behind me, Nora stepped out of the diner. Her face changed with every flash of the red sign. Woman, man, older, younger, someone I had dated, someone I had never met, someone I almost recognized from dreams. Deb stood between us, holding the broken coffee pot like a weapon. Nora asked why she helped them. Deb said, because once no one helped me. I got into Aaron's car. He drove until dawn. He told me something wherein my voice had tapped on his window and said there was a table for 3. What did you do? I asked. He said, my brother would never invite me to a diner with bad coffee. That was love, I think. Not dramatic speeches. Just knowing the exact shape of someone well enough to recognize the lie. Martin's diner burned down that winter. The owner, Deborah Hollis, was not found. 3 months later, I received a postcard with no stamp. On the front was Martin's diner, before the fire. Red sign, glowing in rain. On the back, blue ink said, he forgot the table. I keep hoping Deb survived. I do not know. Some questions are safer unanswered. For 2 years, nothing happened. Then last month, I went to dinner with Aaron and Priya. Bright restaurant, 6:30. No booths. Halfway through, Priya's phone chimed. Then Aaron's. Then mine. Then half the restaurant. Every screen showed the same notification. You have one last match. For 1 second, the windows turned black. In their reflection, behind every table, I saw a red vinyl booth with 2 coffee mugs. Then the lights came back. Everyone blamed a marketing glitch. That night, at 2:17, I woke to rain. My phone lit up, though I had turned it off. Finch was installed. Open. Nora's profile loaded. The photo was my bedroom, taken from the foot of my bed. Me under the blankets, eyes open. At the bottom, where her bio had been, it said, I forgot the table. For 1 second, relief passed through me. Then the text changed. But I remembered the bed. From the hallway outside my bedroom came 3 polite taps. Tap, tap, tap. A voice spoke softly. Miles? Not Nora, not mine. Every voice I had ever hoped would answer at the wrong hour. I did not move. The phone buzzed in my hand. 1 new match. No name. No age. No distance. Only a message. You are not lonely anymore. The bedroom door handle turned once, stopped, then turned back. I stayed awake until sunrise, with my back against the wall and both hands over my mouth. In the morning, the app was gone. The hallway was empty. No footprints, no proof. Only one thing had changed. On the inside of my bedroom door, written in blue ink, was a reservation time, 2:17 in the morning. No date, no place, just the time. I painted over it. It bled through. I replaced the door. The next morning, there it was again, 2:17 in the morning. I do not use dating apps. I do not answer unknown numbers. I do not sit in diners after dark. I do not drink coffee from white mugs unless I pour it myself. And if I wake at 2:17, I keep my eyes closed until the minute passes, because there are some doors you open only once, some tables you should never sit at, some matches that are not made by people, and somewhere in a diner that burned down but did not close, beneath a red sign glowing in rain, there is a booth with 2 coffee mugs and a phone lying face up on the table. The screen is always on. The app is always open. The final profile is always loading. And one day, when someone lonely enough reaches the end of their swipes and thinks just one more cannot hurt, the last match will be waiting, not because it chose them first, but because at some point in the wrong hour of the night, they already answered.